What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 30 of PlayStation Fix. My name is Will Robinson. Joining me this week, we got two of our other E3 goers this year. We got senior editors Adam Byrne
Hello.
and Ernest Lynn.
Hi.
And
Be a bit
our...
more enthusiastic, Ernest.
Yeah,
Jesus.
right?
E3 is what?
right around
5
the
days
corner.
away, 6 days away?
Oh, my God. Yeah, so obviously we didn't do a podcast last week. We just didn't have time with all of our planning and stuff. But anyway, before that, we did the predictions podcast. You'll know that Kyle Prawl was also on that one, and the four of us together are all going to be at E3 next week, and we're super excited. And what we're going to do for this episode is cover all the crap load of news that got leaked, or all the games and everything for the show leading up to it, release dates and all this stuff. Like, it's just kind of ridiculous.
Is there anything going to be left?
Yeah, how many surprises are there actually going to be? But yeah, so we're going to cover some of that stuff, a whole bunch of games that we're going to go through, and we're just going to see where we're at and how wrong some of our predictions were already, or how right they were already.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, there's still time.
There's still a lot of time to do a lot of different things. But first off, the thing that I'm really annoyed with, but I'm also super excited for, probably almost more than anything that we found out this week, was that Persona 5 finally got a goddamn release date, but it's not until next year in February. The 17th.
Valentine's Day.
Oh my god.
So, well, that's fitting. But how long has it been since the original kind of like placeholder? Is it like over a year now, isn't it?
It was
2015.
Yeah, like they were
said
tentative
last year in
discussions for
December it
English
was
release.
supposed to come out. Last year in
Yeah.
December, so a year and 2 months past their initial release. Like,
To be fair, though, I think they are making up a little bit, from what I'm seeing with this, the premium edition, what you get for the price. I think it's
Yeah.
kind of a nod to the fans to say sorry, but
right.
maybe we don't
Well,
know,
the game
don't want to be in the way
game
of
itself,
Final
like,
Fantasy.
the last thing we saw on it, I actually just watched it again. It was there was a gameplay trailer from like a month ago, and I'm not sure if there was an English subbed version or not, but it was just one for like the Japanese release date. So it's coming out.
Yep.
In
On the
September.
UI
They
in
didn't
that
have a
video.
subtitled version. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah, I was like,
They only had a English version of the first trailer, and then all the other trailers they haven't done anything with. So it's
yeah. So September
hoping that they
15th.
catch up.
Yes, it'll come out in Japan on September 15th, and then presumably a lot of the time for it being at least coming out later in the States is just going to be localization and going through that process, which if they're going off of Persona 4 as a benchmark, it's just going to be amazing for the localization and what they do for all the jokes and everything that they write and the performances. So I'm just super excited, and the gameplay looked just bigger and better and just more awesome overall than 4, and that I can't wait. So it makes me super pissed that it's not coming until next year, because I thought for sure it'd be like right after E3 sometime we would get to see at least this holiday.
Yeah, and of course, along with what we're going to talk about next, which I presume if it's talking about release dates and stuff with Horizon, kind of has made Sony's kind of Christmas lineup look decidedly barren before E3. It's not exactly a bad thing because the back catalog is getting bloody insane right now. But still, it's something to talk about a bit later on in this podcast, I would say.
Right. I personally don't mind if there's not a huge lineup this holiday season, just because I have so many games that I haven't been able to play because so many have come out at once that I need to catch up. But yeah, before moving from Persona, one of the coolest things that we found out in addition to the release date was the collector's edition, which we mentioned before, and it comes with a collector's box, which actually had a pretty cool logo on it. You get a hardcover art book, you get a soundtrack steelbook with the game, a 4-inch Morgana plush, and then a school bag, which is like replica from the game, which actually looks really sweet. And all of this is just for $90, which is
What
insane.
a value!
Yeah, no kidding. Like,
It's a 64-page art book as well. It's a pretty big one.
yeah, even. And that's actually a good comparison going off of to our next collector's edition when we talk about that. But yeah, it's like I'm definitely going to be buying this tonight or pre-ordering it tonight after we're done on here talking about it.
Yeah, I need to play a Persona game, so I'm going to pick up a Vita TV or PlayStation TV if I ever see one really, really cheap, and then I will get Persona 4 Golden.
Didn't
That's
they
the only game I'll probably get for the Vita.
now? Isn't that? I thought
They did,
yeah.
But like all shops around me still have them for like $70, and I'm not paying $70.
You should have got it last year when it was $20.
I know. I only noticed that.
Canada, though. I don't know if it was on sale over there.
Yeah, we normally get ripped off for games. Unfortunately, $90 for a standard edition game.
Oh God.
Yeah. Blame the currency. Blame Canada.
Mine when it was $20. I still haven't opened it.
Oh my God,
Ernest, don't make me feel bad.
I've got mine at the ready, but it's not plugged in anymore, just because I sadly don't have a reason really to play my Vita anymore. Damn Sony.
Curse you. Yeah, I think the Vita will be like talked about for probably about 4 seconds in like the teaser trailers for some indie games at E3. But I think you're not going to hear it.
Much. If they actually say it themselves on stage, it'll just be as like just an obligatory mention as their like lineup of devices.
Like maybe even a quick price cut or something like that. Just
who knows? But yeah, the next big news for a game that we already knew was going to be coming out was about Horizon Zero Dawn, and that it got delayed until early 2017. So going against Shuhei Yoshida's
I called it.
Reassurance, saying that it wasn't going to be delayed. Amazingly, it actually is being delayed. So, yeah, early 2017, February 28th is when it'll be hitting the States, and then March 1st in Europe. So, if it's believed to be true that Neo is going to be coming out like this holiday season sometime, which is kind of rumored too, then my whole theory about it being a launch bundle game with it is totally blown out the window. So
yeah, I think you're looking at God of War 4 to be probably that technical showpiece to launch alongside the PlayStation 4K or whatever it's called. But I mean, I'm always of the kind of mind that if a game gets delayed, it's only it's only a good thing. So there's no shortage of games to play. Even though I did say there's probably for some people there will be no kind of at the moment that we know of no killer app kind of coming out for Sony at the end of the year. But from a conceptual standpoint, Horizon looks incredible, and I'm all for giving Guerrilla more time if it's needed.
Yeah, and I'm honestly not super upset about it being delayed. I'm more upset that my prediction is completely shot now.
Well, we got plenty of other things right, Will, so don't worry.
That's true. But that was like my ballsiest one. I was really banking on that one to come through. But in addition to the announcement of the delay, we also know about the collector's edition for it, and we also got a really cool trailer right before we found out I think it was right before the delay was confirmed. Maybe it was right around the same time anyway.
I keep everybody sweet.
Yeah, like the same time it seemed like.
I think it probably was. But the collector's edition for this one is going to be priced at $120. It's a little steeper, but it'll come with a 9-inch alloy statue, so the main character. Steelbook case, including the game. The art of Horizon Zero Dawn, only 48 pages compared to Persona 5's. What did you say, 64?
I think it was 64, yeah.
You get an exclusive PS4 theme, which I think is kind of neat. Is that not too? I'd like to see more games doing that.
It's not as good as the corn theme, though, of course.
Oh, the corn theme. Buttery good.
So good. Buttery good. Melts in your mouth.
And then we got a couple outfits for her. Karja Storm Ranger outfit. And the Banuk Trailblazer outfit. This is how I'm going to say that. So yeah, you get I have no idea if the outfits actually do anything in the game.
So it's nothing too inspired, pretty much. But as a package, it looks pretty nice.
So the statue looks pretty cool.
Standard kind of collector's edition.
Yeah, that's not
statue art book, steelbook.
I'm still annoyed with same with the Uncharted collector's edition, and with this one, the soundtrack of the game doesn't come with it, which always that really ticked me off when I found out the Uncharted one didn't come with a soundtrack, because I was really tempted to buy it until I saw that. And then I saw there was some special deal later where the soundtrack for Uncharted got released. There was a vinyl release for it and a separate thing, and so I don't know what that was all about. But Anyway, that's
that'll
just
be nice.
an interesting trend that I hope, or an interesting thing I'm seeing that I hope doesn't become a trend for collector's editions, is excluding music, because that's one of the big draws for me. But yeah, $120 for statue game, art book, and a couple skins.
Mm.
The thing is, I think
yeah.
I'm never one to pre-order really at all. But
Yeah.
I think you probably know what you're getting with Persona. But I would be wary. Still, even though I know the pedigree of Gorilla and stuff, this is quite a different game for them, and I would be wary of. There's nothing there value-wise. I think that screams at me to pre-order it.
No.
And the fact that like this isn't an established series, and though it looks amazing, and it's definitely up there for my most anticipated games, I think I'd hold off on the whole pre-order thing.
Yeah, there's been so many games that look amazing, and guess what? They aren't.
Yeah.
Order 1886.
Remember Haze, guys? You remember Haze?
That had everything going for it. It looked really
The
nice on the
Halo
screen.
killer.
Jesus. God.
God, I used to love Free Radical. Jeez.
But yeah, the trailer that came out with it at the same time showed the main character, Aloy, basically just kind of this dramatic thing about how she always, like, she never settled for whatever people told her, and she was always asking questions and investigating, and that's the kind of the dramatic montage of her growing up and all that kind of stuff going through, and seeing what I find actually most interesting so far is that it looks like all animals in the world have been replaced by mechanical animals. Like, I haven't
I felt
seen...
sorry for some of the
So everyone's
robots.
vegetarian?
That's what, like, I'm wondering what happened to these. Yeah, like, where did all the actual animals go? Because I was trying to see if the birds themselves were like actually birds or if they were mechanical, but it's always drawn out too far. And the only time you get a close-up shot of a bird is like the giant, like, falcon creature that attacks her in like the first trailer that we saw. So that's just one point that I thought was interesting. Was like, are there actually just no animals in this world besides humans? Like, it seems kind of like, how do they live?
Weird. Yeah.
So, but yeah, it went through all that. Ended with a character voiced by Phil Lamar, so that got me all pumped.
Ooh.
So I was excited to see that he's in there. But as far as story, there's nothing remarkable about it yet. That's kind of another reason why I'm a little hesitant to say about like pre-ordering it or anything.
It does have the lead writer from New Vegas, as far as I remember, which is definitely a plus because I think a lot of people love Obsidian's Fallout games. So because like the Killzone stories were decent, like they're pretty
that's
okay.
not what you played them for at all.
Yeah, they weren't the most engaging. So the fact that they've kind of recognized that as a bit of a hole in their game, and have got somebody of that caliber, then again, very excited for it. But I wouldn't. Jump the gun too early.
The other critique I would make that I saw in the trailer was that, well, part of it is because we've just been so damn spoiled by Naughty Dog with Uncharted 4, was like the facial animation and all that stuff. The trailer, there were 2 moments where they actually showed somebody's face while they were talking. And the first time it was a guy who was talking to her, like her mentor or father, or whoever it was, who was talking to her, and then it kind of zoomed in on his face quickly, and like he said like one word, but the animation was like really sharp, and it wasn't natural. So like it was clearly not finished. So that's why they were not focusing on any of the faces or voices or anything, or the mouths when people were talking, and it was all just kind of like panoramic shots and all these things. And then the second time, Aloy was like talking to the shaman or whatever the guy was in the cave somewhere, and then she like said something like, you either help me or like get out of my way, and she said get out of my way kind of angrily, but her face just stayed completely the same, like, expression.
Yeah, it's one of the kind of not the last things you do, but it's kind of, it's on the further end of the spectrum for development. I think all those facial features and like mouth syncing and stuff.
And especially since it's got delayed until next year, they'll have like they easily would have time to go back and polish some of that stuff a little more. But it was just interesting that's like the moments that they took for their trailer showed it still being not, at least, well, I don't think anything's really going to be the level of what Naughty Dog did for a while for most games, but it's something that now just is immediately more noticeable because of that exposure that I've had, at least with the game. So it was interesting that usually, not that it was bad looking by any means, but developers are always like extremely careful in terms of what they're going to be showing publicly if it's an early part of the game. So
yeah,
it just makes me wonder if that was the best that they had to show in terms of like the character animation and the facial stuff, or if that was just a part that fit what they wanted to have in the trailer. So I don't know. This is a little aside for me that's being really overly critical of a game that's way off yet. So, but yeah, I'm still really excited for it. I'm wondering how much gameplay or anything we're gonna see this year at E3. I'm guessing we'll get an extended gameplay trailer of some kind.
Yeah, I would imagine
something
so.
that shows a little more story, just to get people's appetites.
Even just like I could see them doing on stage at the Sony thing a little 5 to 10 minute gameplay.
Yeah, and then it could be
demo.
playable at Paris Games Week or something like that. Because I don't think it'd be a TGS type thing, but
yeah. All right, so moving on from the games that we knew were going to be there, Bethesda's whole conference basically got blown out of the water. And got
if we're led to believe, yeah, but it looks like it's...
Yeah. But yeah, first off for that, there's like a rumor confirming Elder Scrolls V Remaster to be revealed at E3, which that would sell so many copies if they did. I don't know if it would sell PC copies at all. I really wouldn't think it would, considering how many mods have already been made for it.
Yeah, that game has... So. Yeah, I wouldn't imagine the PC... wouldn't even be surprised if they didn't release it on PC at all. I don't think they need to.
Right?
It's been in a remastered state for nearly 4 years, I'd say. So.
Yeah, it's like...
Speaking of mods, it's rumored to have mod support, which would be interesting.
Well, actually,
so Thomas the Tank Engine and stuff again.
Which would make a lot of sense. I mean, that's what they announced for
Fallout 4.
Yeah. Did that happen already? I would imagine.
Yeah, it just came out pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, just recently for PS4. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't messed around with that at all or know anything how versatile it is. But yeah, I mean that would be pretty cool for console players to be able to tinker around with some of that and do some of the Macho Man mod for the dragons and all that stuff. Oh my god, I'd love to do that. So they got that, and then a whole bunch got apparently leaked at once. Was Wolfenstein: The New Order 2, The Evil Within 2, and Prey 2, which was one that we did call as being... Well, we didn't really call it. It was already rumored to begin with, and we just kind of said, yeah, that makes sense. And now it makes even more sense.
Oh, we call a few of them. The Evil Within 2, Prey 2.
Yeah.
Wolfenstein, I guess it makes sense. I wasn't sure if we talked about last week that id were hiring and stuff for they're related to Quake perhaps, but I was also thinking that maybe Machine Games moving on from Wolfenstein could perhaps take on that Quake license. But yeah, I guess it makes sense. I mean, Wolfenstein, the reboot of Wolfenstein was really well received, as was not so much, but it's the follow-up deal or expansion pack was as well. So I mean, it makes sense. Like it does, and I'm looking forward to it. I still haven't finished the first one, but
I played
I will get back
I think
to
that was
that.
one of the first PS4 games that came out, right? It was one of the early ones.
Sure. I think it was 2015.
Maybe.
I think it was like summer.
I remember
around.
playing it. Well, I must have had a PS4 by then, but I remember playing it on Kyle's PS4 when I was at his place once, and I played through like the first 3 hours just straight, and I was like just totally engrossed in it, and I never got to finish it.
That's surprising actually, because a lot of people think the first 2 or 3 hours are a bit of a slog, and the rest of it gets amazing. And I've only done the slog part.
Yeah, I mean it was. I mean it was
though.
kind of slow, but I mean I just really liked it as a shooter, and it just felt really good, and I loved the just kind of. I like the craziness of it, but still trying to be somewhat grounded in realistic physics and all that kind of stuff. But just the absurdity of it is really fun. So,
yeah, I'm not even sure how much it's sold, to be honest. But
I don't think it sold all that remarkably, but
yeah,
critically it was really positive.
Yeah, and I think you're right, actually, it did come out in 2014. There is a bit of a revisionist history, and people are kind of looking at it even more fondly, because I remember getting like mid 70s and 8s and stuff, but like people look back at that game now and like really fondly. So I guess it makes sense. Like Machine Games have only made 2 games, one of which was half a game in the Old Blood. So they had to been working on something, so it makes sense.
Yeah, I like that. So I think it was you, Adam, that called Evil Within 2, right?
Oh yes, and I am very excited. I just hope it gets the kind of like, if it is true, I hope it just gets the kind of classic sequel treatment. Like I wish they kind of like, I hope, I'm not counting on it because it's Bethesda, but like a new engine, because it was technically there was a lot of issues with it. The frame rate was all over the place. It was really clunky mechanically as well. So hopefully it just gets like, refined, and maybe take the supernatural stuff out of it a bit and just pace it a little on everything, and then like we'll really be in for a treat, because Shinji Mikami can do no wrong. So bring it on.
Yeah. And then Prey 2 got announced.
Which we called as well.
Yeah, we called that. But
heavy rumors though for that.
Yeah, that was kind of expected, so not too surprising. I mean, it's still in the rumor phase at this point, but having it rumored again by a different kind of source and different reasoning for it being rumored to come out is just like, okay, this is just going to happen. So I'm super excited about this now, because I want to see where they're taking this. So yeah, I don't know if I'll be excited after I see the trailer or whatever they're going to show, but right now I just want to see what they do.
Exactly. I didn't play the original Prey, but I have heard a lot about it, so I am interested to see what direction this goes in.
Ernest, you got thoughts on the Bethesda games?
I'm just holding out for Quake.
It's a long while off.
Yeah, right. But it seems very, very reasonable. Sounds like very plausible games that we could see there.
Yeah, I mean,
I definitely think the Oblivion one will be a big hit.
Yeah, do you think they would announce that in place of an Elder Scrolls 6, or would it be in addition to?
I can see them doing it in addition to.
So like Elder Scrolls,
a small teaser, and then to hold you off in the meantime, Skyrim Remastered.
I'm honestly convinced that we will not see Elder Scrolls for quite a while. Like, I think just in my opinion, I think it's near impossible that we see anything to do with a new Elder Scrolls. I think, given the glut of like The Witcher and stuff, and like, just so many open world games that did things really well, I think, like, I went back to Fallout again, and there's just something about it that I just can't get into. I don't know what it is. I really think they just need that new engine, and they need just a fresh coat of paint, because everybody else is doing open world games now. Because when Skyrim came out, and even Fallout 3, like, they were untouchable. Like, they were incredible games, and I just think that on the back of Fallout, though it was received well critically and commercially, that they just need to kind of go back to the drawing board a bit and create a new engine and really give us something brand new. As I said, Fallout 3 and stuff were such like technical marvels, and like just pushed everything ahead so much that like I think
they were still even like super broken, and they still were like the best games.
Yeah, so
ever.
I think they need to kind of just take that next leap now. I don't think they could half-ass it and release something that looks visually dated and like isn't really, pushing the envelope or anything.
Be amazing if it had VR support.
God.
Oh God, I would love that. Going into those crypts and the dungeons and all this stuff, and that'd be so amazing.
That's a few years off.
Yeah, well, if it's a few years off, they might as well add a couple more on and make that happen.
Man, we all know what's going to be the VR killer app, and it's going to be Half-Life 3.
Yeah, Half-Life 3.
If there was one company to do it that could push VR like into more homes than any other game, and who could afford to do it, it would be Valve.
I mean, the HTC Vive is supposed to be overall the best out of the headsets. So.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like when Half-Life came out, it was a revolution. Like it was a complete revolution. Half-Life 2 brought about the Source engine and fit all these like impressive new physics stuff. So it has to push the envelope in some respects. So there you go, VR, perfect.
I was gonna say
they have the backing out Vive. They need to make Vive a viable thing, so why not?
This is
Don't know how it works, though.
if it ever did come out, people are just going to be disappointed by it no matter what. Like it's just I can't imagine Half-Life 3 ever being like a positive game.
Yeah,
like just at this point, and it's just like
to even become
it's just too mythical.
a viable. Right? I would still say it's probably about 5 years off. When like VR is like at a stage where you can make a big game, a big adventurous like game with all these cool techniques and stuff, then maybe. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. All right, so we got a couple more announcements that got leaked. XCOM 2, I'll mention that quickly, is got announced coming to PS4 in September. And I actually really liked the first console XCOM back in
a lot of people love that game.
That was actually the first like $60 game I reviewed for PSU. That was like 3-4 years ago.
Nice.
What'd you give it?
I gave it an 8.5. I really liked it, and it was I loved playing the game, and then it got to a point where it just really got just like brutally hard, and I wasn't able to finish it when I was going through it. But it was everything in it, like mechanically and just gameplay wise, it was just so exceptionally well done that everything, even though it was turn based, and I wasn't totally sold on like the turn based like RTS type of thing or moving it forward and different things. Like I wasn't sold on it to begin with. I just absolutely got engrossed in it and just like fell in love with it after like a few hours. And just the compound building and like adding rooms and like resources and all that stuff, building up your base, and just a perfect game for completionists because it like just it sounds wrong because it doesn't end really like ever. But it's perfect for the people that just keep wanting to improve and improve and improve. So
I like Downwell. That damn game. I finally finished it.
Did you? It still doesn't work on my computer. Like it just freezes up every time I try to start it.
You can literally get to the end in like 12 minutes. So it took me like 2 weeks to finish it. It's actually insane. It's not even that hard. I don't even. Anyway, but XCOM. I know fellow editor Neil absolutely loves it. So
I still can't believe it didn't come out on Vita. I was like, this was like the perfect Vita game.
Seems like a Vita title.
It was like I didn't understand why they didn't follow up immediately in like 2012, like XCOM, Enemy Unknown Vita, and I was like, yes, like I would play that forever on my Vita. It would be the perfect game. No.
Nobody cares about Vita, unfortunately.
I know.
Well, some gamers do, but the higher ups don't.
Right.
So.
Well, a game that I do really care about, and I knew it was going to happen, and I really hope that it's this year that it actually officially gets announced, is Injustice 2. Oh my god, yes. My body is ready for this game. I loved the first Injustice. Like, I don't play fighting games a lot. Not that part of it is just that I don't have the time to invest in fighting games, or compared to, if I want to play other games, I don't have time to invest in fighting games to be good at them, or the level of good that I'd want to be. But Injustice 2 is just so... It was superheroes, so it was just like immediately approachable for most people, or immediately interested by a lot of people who didn't play fighting games, so it was a great introductory fighting game for a lot of newcomers. Just because they want to learn their characters or their favorite superhero and fight with them, and it was just a perfect game amongst my group of friends in college, where it just like... people had it, and it was like everybody had their character, and then you always just fought each other with like your characters. So, and oh god, I just can't wait to see what they do, how they vamp it up, because even as like just a superhero fighting game, which a lot of people just like immediately say, like dismiss it as almost, well, people who don't know anything about fighting games are like really, because it's technically is like it was extremely good, and it was easily one of the best fighting games to come out at the time, and still is one of the most solid games apart from the netcode and all that. But
yeah, it was a good entry kind of level game, and I remember it was free on PS Plus as well, which that's how I kind of got into it a bit, because I was kind of hankering for a fighting game. It was fun. Like, I'm not a big superhero fan, so that kind of aspect was lost to me, but it definitely was a good time sink for a little while.
Story was cool.
Yeah, story was really cool.
I watched,
totally unique one.
I didn't know in the game Oh, actually, I might actually because of PlayStation Plus. I only play a little bit of it, but I watched a bunch of the cutscenes
Yeah,
just online.
that's what I love too. Is that the story was completely unique to the game, so it didn't like rip off any comics, or it wasn't just like a regurgitated storyline.
Right, it
So
was something fresh new.
yeah,
So you were like invested.
and then it
and
basically
intrigued by
became
it.
canon because everybody loved it so much. So like that's just really cool. And then that's one of the biggest things that I'm excited for this one is to see where they take off from how the last one ended, because it was pretty dramatic. Just kind of the fighting and the like the basically the two universes colliding with each other and the interaction there. So yeah,
Yeah, I'm wondering. It kind of took me aback that it was getting a sequel. To be honest, I'm trying to think of how well it sold before. Obviously, it was.
it was. I mean, it
free.
was received like really really well. I don't know in
Yeah.
terms of, I don't know for sales figures
I think it
if
sold
it was huge,
decently across everything because it was
Yeah.
re-released on the current gen.
but in terms of like fighting
originally,
game
yeah.
community, and I mean, like it has like it has its own like championships at like Evo and stuff. So it's
Mhm.
like, and it got really quickly adopted. So like fighting game community was like really hard into it. So I mean I totally expected it to get a sequel at some point, and it makes sense because of like alternating between, since like Mortal Kombat X came out last year. That
Yeah.
they would be switching to Injustice now in between, and that NetherRealm would be the ones that would be making it, not handing it off to another company to do it.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, NetherRealm definitely have the pedigree. I think they've only made a couple of games thus far. Obviously, Mortal Kombat X, so they have their genre and they know how to play to it. But I think Injustice came out on a lot of things. I think there was even a free to play version, like a mobile app and stuff. It even came out in the Vita,
oh
from what
yeah,
I
yeah,
remember.
yeah. I think yeah, you just get a couple of the basic characters or something. Is that how it worked? It's a different thing.
Yeah, it must have
Or
been.
maybe
Yeah,
I'm thinking of Killer Instinct. I don't know. But yeah, I'm super excited for that. I can't wait to see where that goes and what they add to it, change characters. Like I'm really excited
yeah.
for that. And I think the last big game that we get to talk about, which I'm also super super excited for, is the Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age HD remaster of the original Final Fantasy XII. I can't wait.
Yeah, we were aware that Square Enix were going to be remastering some game, and I guess we narrowed it down to either this or Dragon Quest VIII, but it was always going to be this, I think. Looks like
Yeah.
they're doing a really good cleanup on this, so I'm looking forward to it. I played it probably about 15 hours, and then I somehow just tapered off. I don't know what I did afterwards. I kind of forgot about it, but if time is right when it comes out, because games, as I've mentioned before on this a lot of times, it has to catch me at the right moment. If
Yeah.
it's like a massive game, it has to just catch me in that right mood, and then I'm in. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I really enjoy what I played back. I remember being slightly confused by the whole systems in the game, but I'm sure if I come back with a clean slate, I can jump back in.
Yeah, I loved the characters, and I just loved the whole world of it like a lot.
Yeah, the
the
world was-
cities and running through, and just like it felt like a real. It was one of the first games that really felt like I was in like a city, and like I was actually wandering the streets and the markets, and it felt alive to me.
Yeah, that pushed the PS2 quite hard. I remember even being able to see enemies in the distance and stuff, and like big creatures and stuff, just taken aback by that, like how incredible it looked. But yeah, make no mistake, this game is going to sell gangbusters.
Yeah, this was also another game that I wanted so badly on Vita, and it never happened. Like, if I would have gotten the XCOM and if I would have gotten Final Fantasy 12 on Vita, I would have put in like another 500 hours on my Vita in playtime. But no.
What's the current release schedule for this? Is it just PS4 and
This is
is it even
2017
Xbox?
for PS4.
Is it even Xbox One or?
I hope not. I don't think it
It's
is.
just PS4. I
Yeah.
thought. I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, I'm surprised they're not even doing a PS3 release like they did with Final Fantasy X.
I mean, I think it's at the point now with with PS4 having sold as well as it has, that they really just don't have to care about PS3 anymore. I'm sorry, PS3 owners
Yeah.
who don't have PS4s yet, but that's kind of how the market is dictating games. So
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
it's like
Yeah.
I haven't turned on my PS3 and I don't even know how long. And I always think about like starting up a game or something that I have on PS3, and then I just never do because I jump onto PS4 or it's coming out on PS4. So like, oh, I'll just wait.
I think it's a Netflix machine for my parents back in Ireland at the moment, actually. I think it still has Resident Evil 3 in it as well.
Oh, so they play that too?
Yeah, well, they used to watch me play it in the late 90s, so...
Yeah, so I don't know, were there any other big announcements that we missed or any other things that were coming out?
Trying to remember kind of what's going to be even left now. There's going to be plenty of stuff. Like,
I mean, Sucker Punch, we still don't know what they're doing.
Yeah,
officially. We
God of War and
God of
Dead
War
Don't Ride and stuff have to be formally announced. And there's let me think. There's been a couple of other things. Let me think.
I guess I mean we know about Watch Dogs 2. That's confirmed.
Oh yeah, Watch Dogs 2.
IGN accidentally hit live on an ad on their website, and it leaked the release date, which is November 15th of this year, and then you could see showed the new protagonist, and then also the Golden Gate Bridge. So it's San Francisco, as rumored.
I just have no interest in that game. I didn't play the first one.
I didn't like the first one.
I was gonna play the first one, then everybody just completely shit on it. It's just like this is like I never heard a positive thing about it apart from it being like just like solid gameplay in certain parts of it, but there was nothing worthwhile.
I mean, it was conceptually interesting, but I think everything else just pointed to it being incredibly bland.
And that was the other thing too.
But again,
oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Well, like that, the thing that everybody kind of harps on about as well. Let's just hope it kind of gets the Assassin's Creed 1 to 2 type scenario where it kind of just improves upon everything.
Yeah. And I was
it was very middle. It was just kind of average. I don't know who tweeted it, but I saw on Twitter someone said something like, don't have so much of the gameplay focused on the gunplay. Maybe just have him have a pistol and then have more focus on stuff like stealth and hacking.
Yeah.
And making tougher decisions on like, oh, should I hack this? But some of the consequences of doing that and stuff like that. Like that would be a lot more intriguing.
Not make your guy like a badass with a gun that can also hack into things. Just make his only weapon being able to hack. And like if he gets shot or anything or any guys come after him, you just have to figure out how to hack your way out or you're just screwed. Like
because even the online portion apparently was quite good in the original. Like people could hack your game. Like they'd come into your world and hack, and then you have to try and find them before like they hacked into like the system and stuff, and like made kind of cat and mouse type things. It looked actually really interesting.
Yeah, I actually remember writing a news article about that when it first got announced. It did look really cool. But yeah, the thing that bummed me out most though was like how they first announced it and saying like it's in Chicago and it's like we're replicating a lot of the streets of Chicago and how you're gonna explore the whole city and go through, and it's like 10 blocks like of Chicago. I was like, oh my god. I was just like, no. I was like getting all excited. I was like, yeah, to run around, go to all the different landmarks and go down the loop and running around everywhere. It's like, no, you get like one street. I was like, god damn it. So that's why I was hoping that it was going to be Chicago again for the next one and they would actually do it justice, but now they're moving to San Francisco. But oh well.
They should really just set it back in my hometown. It would be far more interesting. Sick of all this American-centric stuff. Send it back to good old Ireland. Pint bottles being thrown around. People using Nokia 3310s. That's going to be some serious hacking.
Any other games that or any other announcements that could come out? I'm trying to think if there was anything else.
We
FIFA
got
17. Right?
Oh yeah.
Final Fantasy 15, you said?
No, FIFA 17.
Oh, FIFA. I thought I heard a bunch of Fs and I thought Final Fantasy.
FIFA.
Okay. Yeah, FIFA got the Frostbite. Yeah,
that's interesting. Finally I think they've been using the Ignite engine, like the same version of it since like 2011 or something. So that's nice. We also got slight rumors about Dead Don't Ride from everybody's favorite insider Shinobi, saying that what was it again? So Dead Don't Ride will feature the undead, which of course kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
What else was it? Like open landscapes. There's going to be. I can't remember what it was said. Let me think. I have to try and pull up an article or something. But it's supposed to pretty much. It seems to be kind of like Undead Nightmare mixed with like Mad Max. That's the kind of general rumor going around, which is not at all what I expected it to be. But well, like before even like when it was announced as Dead Don't Ride, like or when it was rumored to be Dead Don't Ride, obviously that was the connotation of the undead and like bikers and stuff. But I would never have thought that Sony Bend would be doing a game kind of like this. But I mean, I'm interested. Like it's open world, apparently survival. Undead is choppers, and it's got like kind of zany black comedy to it as well. So I mean, it should be revealed next week. So not long to wait now. Even though, how long have we waited for this? This has been in development for probably like 3 years now.
Quite a while, yeah.
Yeah.
And there was another one.
Hopefully it can be the fall big game.
There's a different big game, actually. Announced it was the latest IP from Deep Silver, actually, called Agents of Mayhem.
Oh,
and it's apparently set in the Saints Row universe.
Oh, great.
You don't like Saints Row?
I'm just done with it. Like, just
But it's
just
so
getting
cool and wacky.
it got to a stage. It's like, okay, I get it. I'm done.
When you're the
Three was
president with
pretty zany, and then
when you're the president with superpowers and aliens attack, you can't go much beyond that.
then go into hell as well. It's just like, I'm sure it's like I haven't even looked into it much. Is it that much different? Like, is it still kind of like?
What's in the
humor?
It's in that universe, and it looks like it's totally just like a comedy type of action, a comedy action game, but it creates basically like a comic book world within the universe there. So this is let's see, our article written by our own Mike Herdens. Says that Agents of Mayhem crafts its own unique comic book world, however, with players taking control of a special agent, a member of the titular organization Mayhem, tasked with taking down a group of supervillains known as Legion. Expects Volition's trademark over-the-top gameplay to feature predominantly in this latest offering. So, still pretty crazy and just going to be wacky and action and all that stuff. So,
it's not something I'd be too interested in, to be honest. It's annoying though, and I'm kind of remembering back like when Volition did like Red Faction and stuff, I know Armageddon effectively killed that series, but Guerrilla took it in a pretty interesting direction. So I kind of wish they went back to that. But then again, what else can you do with it, really? It can't go back to being a standard first-person shooter because there's just too many of them, and Guerrilla kind of was fun, but I don't think you can take it too much further, unfortunately. So we're left with Agents of Mayhem, which, not too interested in, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah, I'd like to see Deep Silver do something more, I don't know necessarily outside of their comfort zone, but just try something that's different.
I think what's actually what's more fascinating about Deep Silver, I think, is their viability as a company at the moment. Like, I'm going to presume they've probably eaten it really hard with like Homefront, and Mighty Number 9 is looking like a bit of a disaster.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're going to really eat it with Homefront. Like, that's probably had this like a really poor couple of opening weeks. But then again, they have Bloodstained, which I'm convinced will be amazing because Igarashi can't do anything wrong. So
yeah,
hopefully they stay afloat.
Right. All right. Well, we still got some of our predictions left unscathed so far, leading to the show. So hopefully those will come true as we move forward. We will be having a podcast immediately after Sony's show, happening Monday night next week. We're also going to do, we're gonna react to the Bethesda one for sure. Sunday.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of kind of roundtable video podcasts.
We're just going to have a whole bunch of stuff for you next week. So
you get to see our lovely mugs on camera. So
yeah, We'll be talking about all the games that we're going to be seeing, the appointments we have, reactions to all the conferences and everything going through. And I'm trying to think if there's any other big things that are going to be happening.
Yeah, so that will be on the PlayStation Universe YouTube channel. So stay tuned to that and subscribe if you have not already.
Yeah, for sure, it's going to be on there. There are going to be articles and posted all the stuff on our videos and the write-ups that we do and the coverage in general for the news and announcements on PSU. So you'll be able to find everything you need for all of your PlayStation content coverage for E3 2016 right here on PSU. So stay tuned to that. And like Adam said, follow us on YouTube. You can follow PSU on Twitter, on Facebook, on Twitch. Twitch will be PSU Live. I think that's it. Ernest, you're the social media guru. Any other things that we gotta let the good people know to follow?
We'll probably be doing Snapchat and Vine stuff.
You're going to be doing live tweeting and stuff?
Live tweeting and stuff.
During all the
maybe some
There's going to be some very snarky tweets.
Yeah.
Excellent. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Yep, some sassiness to go around.
Yeah. So, yeah, thanks for watching, or not, well, watching. Thanks for listening to, well, thanks in advance for watching all of our stuff for next week. But right now, thanks for listening to episode 30 of PlayStation Fix, talking about a lot of the leaks that have happened. How many more do you think we're going to see before the show actually kicks off? Like any other leaks? Do you think we're going to have another wave?
I think you'll get some probably on the Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Because I remember last year, obviously, we got Final Fantasy VII was leaked by Silicon Era and stuff. So as soon as, when it's like, I'd say one or two big ones probably, especially on the Sunday.
Yeah, I'm sure some publishers will officially releasing like details, like launch dates, and then also trailers and stuff. Because we've seen a lot of E3 2016 trailers release officially this week, and so it's like, what else? What else? Yeah, it's like, what else do we have to show?
Right. I guess they're just testing the waters out for some of the reaction. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So thanks for listening to this episode of PlayStation Fix. Stay tuned for all of our coverage for E3 next week. We're all insanely excited for this year's show, and we can't wait to see what's going to happen, and we want you to be a part of our excitement this year, and hope you stay around on PSU. So thanks again, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care.